The Supreme Court just delivered a 6-3 ruling that could reshape the future of gun laws across the United States. And if you own a gun, live in a restrictive state, or simply care about your constitutional rights, what happens next could directly affect you. Because this decision isn't small, it has the potential to challenge existing bans, influence ongoing cases, and change how courts look at gun laws moving forward. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is one legal shift you need to understand before it's too late. What just happened? So here's the situation, and it's more serious than most people think. The Supreme Court has issued a powerful 6-3 decision with major implications. This ruling takes a strong stance on how gun laws are interpreted. It focuses directly on constitutional principles rather than broad modern interpretations. That alone is enough to trigger attention across the entire legal system. At the same time, the Department of Justice is making important strategic moves. These moves could influence how current gun restrictions are enforced nationwide. They may also affect how aggressively certain laws are defended in court. And in some cases, they could open the door for new challenges. This is not just another legal headline that fades away quickly. This is the type of ruling that creates long-term legal consequences. It can directly influence ongoing court cases happening across the country. Lawyers may now use this decision to support new legal arguments. State governments could be forced to rethink how their laws are written. Some existing gun laws might face stronger challenges than before. Others may struggle to survive under stricter constitutional standards. In certain situations, even past rulings could be brought back into question. That means cases people thought were settled might not be final anymore. So why is this moment getting so much attention right now? Because Supreme Court decisions don't just affect one single case. They often set a legal precedent that shapes future interpretations. Lower courts usually follow these precedents when making their own decisions. That creates a ripple effect throughout the entire legal system. And that ripple effect is exactly what people are watching closely. Because what happens next could impact millions of people nationwide. What changed? Now let's talk about the real question. What actually changed after this ruling? This is the part that really matters for understanding the bigger picture. At the center of this decision is how courts evaluate gun restrictions. The Supreme Court is now focusing on a more strict constitutional approach. Instead of broad interpretations, judges must follow clearer historical guidelines. That means modern reasoning alone is no longer enough to justify restrictions. The court is emphasizing constitutional text and historical legal traditions heavily. In simple terms, laws must align with how rights were originally understood. If a law restricts gun rights, it now faces a tougher test. Courts must carefully examine whether that restriction has historical support. This makes it harder for governments to justify certain modern gun laws. That means some existing laws could now be challenged more aggressively. Legal experts are already preparing cases to test these new standards. Certain restrictions may not hold up when reviewed under stricter conditions. Some laws that once seemed secure could now face serious uncertainty. And future gun laws could become harder for lawmakers to pass, because any new rule must meet this higher constitutional requirement. This creates a new legal environment for both lawmakers and courts. However, this doesn't mean laws disappear or change overnight instantly. Existing rules will remain until they are challenged and reviewed, but it clearly opens the door for major legal challenges ahead. Many organizations may now push cases through lower courts quickly. Judges will have to apply this new standard in real situations. That process will take time but could reshape the legal landscape. And that's exactly where things start to get very interesting. Real impact on people. So what does this actually mean for everyday people right now? This is where the real impact becomes easier to understand clearly. For gun owners, this decision could bring more clarity in certain areas. Some rules may now become easier to understand under stricter standards. However, not everything will change immediately across every single state. There could be changes to restrictions depending on where you live. Some states may adjust their laws to match the new ruling. Others might continue defending their current rules in court. This means differences between states could still exist for some time. New court cases could also reshape what is legally allowed nationwide. Lawyers may begin challenging laws using this updated legal standard. For states, this ruling creates both legal pressure and tough decisions. They must choose whether to adapt quickly or fight in court. And for the legal system, this could lead to more lawsuits. Because after major rulings, people naturally begin testing legal limits. What happens next? This is where everything starts to move forward from this point. Now the focus shifts from the decision to its real-world impact. Legal experts across the country are already watching this very closely. They understand that what happens next is extremely important. Why is this stage so critical in the overall process? Because the next step is not just about the ruling itself. It is about how this decision gets applied in real situations. Courts will now begin interpreting this ruling in different cases. That's where the true meaning of the decision becomes clearer. We could see lower courts revisiting past decisions very soon. Some cases that were previously settled might be reviewed again. New cases could also emerge challenging existing gun laws nationwide. Lawyers may use this ruling to push stronger constitutional arguments. This could create a wave of legal activity across multiple states. And possibly, more Supreme Court involvement could happen in the future. If conflicts between courts grow, higher review may become necessary. That is how major legal shifts continue to develop over time. The Department of Justice will also play a critical role here. Their decisions could shape how laws are enforced moving forward. They may choose to defend certain laws more aggressively in court, or they could reconsider positions depending on legal pressure. So while this may look like a clear win to some people, others may see it as the beginning of new legal uncertainty, because the full story is still unfolding step by step, and the real impact will take time to fully understand. This isn't just a headline people will forget after a few days. It represents a moment that could shape legal decisions for years ahead. The impact of this ruling may continue unfolding over a long time. It has the potential to influence how future gun laws are created, and also how existing laws are reviewed and challenged in courts. Whether you agree with this decision or strongly disagree with it, one thing is absolutely clear at this point in time. The conversation around gun laws is far from being finished. In fact, it may only be entering a much more intense phase. Debates, court cases, and legal challenges are likely to continue. Different states may respond in very different ways moving forward, and that could create even more discussion across the country. If you want clear and simple breakdowns of major legal changes, make sure you subscribe and stay updated with future explanations, because what happens next could affect more people than expected.